Hello, everybody. We are back with another week of. Well, this was a very interesting conclusion to our first weekend of the of the Mania World Cup round 32. We're here to present to you the round of 16 Mappool Showcase. My name is Mint. I'm here joined with Apple.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm glad to be back here doing the showcase.
I love Showcase, and I love Mappool. We put them together. We made it Mappool Showcase. Are we really excited?
Oh my god. I hope everyone's excited. I mean, this week's
I'm really excited.
Really
this
fun,
Mappool is so difficult. It is. We really ramp things up this one. Oh,
yeah.
I just can't wait to show it off. I'm just so excited.
Alright,
So,
I mean, I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else?
Well, I just want to say a quick congratulations to all the teams for performing so well in round of 32. Every single team blew, I'm sure, all of us, all of our expectations out of the water. I just want to say I'm proud of you. Okay, maybe if you don't have anyone else saying this to you, I'm gonna say it to you. All right, I'm proud of you. Okay. If you played well, if you maybe didn't think you played as well, I'm still proud of you. Regardless, things are going to get harder this week. So hopefully we do a little bit more, I guess. I don't know. Let's just jump into it. Yeah. Alright, so this is the first map. This is Come Inside My Heart by Bad HD Player. This is our stream pick.
Yep, and this is actually the map for this, or the mapper for this is actually one of the players on Indonesia. I believe it's a captain, correct? So
this is correct, yes.
They definitely would have some experience with this, but I know this is actually quite a popular chart in Graveyard, just because like a lot of people that I know generally have played this map before, but it's quite simple, I would say, with just like stream patterns as we see this right here, the speeds coming through.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people notice these patterns are quite a step up from the previous Hajimete Shimashou. This is, I would say, it averages to about 315 BPM, although it does fluctuate. You'll notice that the BPM at the bottom there, it says 146 to 171. That is accurate. This chart has fluctuating BPM, so that is, I don't know if that's necessarily something to watch out for, because you don't really notice it when you're playing this chart.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The BPM changes aren't felt very much, but definitely the little bits of streams do cause some strains, especially in the last stream that I think we're going to be seeing it soon. It definitely causes some issues, mainly because stamina and the patterning kind of gets a bit harder from what I remember. But generally, the first few streams that you play should be not that bad, honestly.
Yeah, I would say it's fairly comfortable, and the, I guess, implicit mini jacks are pretty predictable, honestly. Like, this is a pretty decent step up from the previous stream pick, but I would say that it fits really, really well with the rest of the rice pool. And I would say the length also is very, very comfortable with it. 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and there's quite a sizable amount of breaks, although the length of the parts where they actually have the streams, those go on for quite a long time. So you do have to balance out consistency and kind of all these different things when you're playing this map.
Yeah, and especially because like you're playing this match in a tournament match, so maybe some things have happened, some things are from your regular play. You definitely have to stay as high, like just in high, what is the word? High consistency, basically.
Yeah, and well, that's pretty much it for the first pick, and I guess we can get to the next one. Alright, this is Infinity Rage by Lemon Guy. This is 230 BPM jump stream. You'll notice that it's shorter than Little God Channel, which was a round of 32 jump stream pick, but it's still quite heavy, I would say. We do see some hands, but it is still fairly light. I would say light jump stream. That's how I would categorize this as. Yeah, this is very more anchors, slightly less awkward patterning, I would say, but it's it makes up for it with the anchors and density.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This being a 11 guy chart generally, anchors and hands generally will just be put into places, and we're already seeing these anchors on the outer columns that can cause some trouble for some players, especially having to transition in and out of them, going into hands and then these anchors. Can cause some trouble for some people, but I think generally most people will be fine with this, especially since the BPM is 232. I feel like that's not too high, especially considering the just how good some of these players are in this tournament.
Yeah, honestly, this feels fairly similar in difficulty to, I guess, Knocking Core, maybe? Knocking Core is a little easier in patterning, but the BPM is fairly similar to warrant the comparison, I would say.
Yeah, I will say, even though this is a bit shorter than Little God Channel, as Mint did say, I still think the difficulty really is a bit ramped up, even in terms of like stamina. Even just because the patterning itself is a bit more demanding with these anchors, and as we're now seeing these trills, which cause different like hand movements and different technique to be used in basically all these patterns.
Yeah, and we see like some hands there and some streams. So this map does spike up a little bit above the typical JS map, but it's honestly like fairly comfortable to the point where I think it's decently manageable for the teams remaining. Or I guess all the teams that are remaining, the top 32, which of course all of them have not been eliminated yet, and they will be eliminated this round. Some of them, I think 8 of them? Yep.
Yeah, something like that. So it is going to be a bit more high pressure for some of the lower bracket players and lower bracket teams because they will have the chance to be eliminated. Though the same can be said for the winner bracket team, since they really don't want to go into losers brackets, since you will have to play a bit more matches, and that's generally not as good. But I do want to say that this map really doesn't have that many breaks, so stamina definitely will be an issue for some of the, I guess, less skilled players who aren't as comfortable on this kind of BPM, who aren't as comfortable on this kind of map in general. And
yeah, I know this ending particularly is very difficult because of all these kinds of like hand biased anchors, as well as the streams that we saw earlier and some throwing in of the hands and such. So a lot of stuff to watch out for this ending. That it's definitely a, I would say, consistency test, but it does tap a little bit into stamina, I would say, at least maybe for the, as you said, like lower seeded teams.
Yeah. But with that being said, we can now go on to Rice 3, another Lemon Guy Falcon Sound Team song.
Wow.
Now, this is completely different. It is actually going to be our Core Jack pick.
Yeah, this is our Core Jack pick. I would say this doesn't really get into the territory of Core Jacks just yet. It's fairly light. I would say this is like Core Jack, Speed Jack, like it's on the boundary, like it's definitely lighter than what you normally see in MWC. And already most people will probably imagine MWC Core Jacks are fairly light. But this BPM, we start off at 142. So
yeah, 142 is insanely fast. Even for this kind of jacks, if you're not too comfortable on it, which honestly I kind of assume most people are at least using comfortable around 140. But if you're not too comfortable, it can cause definitely a lot of issues and maybe something that you want to ban, honestly.
Yeah, it really depends on how you want to strategize this pick. This pick could be a really easy win for some teams, while I would say it might be really risky for others because, I don't know, maybe you're just not feeling the Core Jack that day and you maybe find a miss or two and during practice you're like, nope, I'm not playing this during match. But otherwise, I don't really feel like this map is too out of place in terms of difficulty within the Rice picks. And we'll get to the miscellaneous Rice picks just in a moment after this pick. But yeah, and I'm sure many of you have noticed by now, this is round of 16 and we do have Core Jacks. This is new. The previous 2 years we did not really have a Core Jack pick for round of 16. And we're introducing it here because we just thought it would scale better. We just thought that, you know, we're already making the pool so difficult. Like, you guys should have a little bit of a treat, you know?
Yeah, everyone loves Core Jack, so why don't we just put it in right now? But yeah, so we see like kind of jumpish patterns here. Really basic Core Jack patterns that we see in most maps. Though there are quite a few anchors, I guess 3-note anchors. that some players may be able to trip up on, though in general, Core Jack is like kind of black or white, where if you're able to play, you get a really high score, and then if you kind of aren't, then it's, I guess, more fall off-ish.
Yeah, and this section here where the, I guess, 3-note jacks start to come in, the kind of somewhat awkward one-handed patterns do kind of start to ramp up towards the end. But for people who are playing this as chord jacks instead of like speed jacking it, that's definitely like out of the windows. It's definitely something super manageable for most players. And as we wrap up with Rice 3, we move from Falcom and into Flash Revolution. Hello everyone, this is Rice 4, this is your miscellaneous tech Rice pick. Innocent Revolver 1.15. Oh, sorry, 1.05, sorry. No, we're not doing 1.15. We're nice people.
Yeah, that would have been quite mean. We do see another Bima map as we saw in the last round, though this one is definitely a bit of a step up in terms of difficulty. I mean, we can already see it right here. It's definitely quite a bit more difficult, a lot more mini jacks, and a lot more, I guess, burst in this map.
Yeah, I would say that this map is really probably out of all the Rice picks, it's the most focused on accuracy. So I would say this is like Hopeful Frontier V2 if you really want to scale things up from that. However, there will be some funny patterns, and I'm sure everyone loves funny patterns. They're my favorite. Right here. Ooh, that one's nice.
I love funny patterns. But I guess some things about this map is that it is actually around the same around the same length as the last map, Hopeful Frontier. It's 1 minute 58 seconds compared to 1 minute 57 seconds. So you will most likely be able to play this map in around like the same amount, I guess. But yeah. And then also the OD is slightly easier than Hopeful Frontier, but with that being said, this difficulty generally is still really, really hard, so it's not like that's a really big thing.
Like, the chart feels very similar to Hopeful Frontier, but it's just so much more difficult to, I guess, be consistent on. There's that 1-6 mini jack there, that one's also really rough. And we did get some adjustments, so for those of you who do know the FFR map, there are some minor changes, but it's, I would say, negligible on this rate. Maybe on up rates it would be a little more noticeable. But yeah, that's Innocent Revolver, and we move on to our Rice 5, which is our, I guess, dump focus pick, which is going to be Celsius, mapped by Darkstar into Darkstar.
Yep, we see, I believe this is our second Darkstar map. We didn't see one in round of 32, but we did see one in qualifiers. So we're going to be coming back to Darkstar right here, and as everyone knows, they make difficult maps with really weird star ratings.
Yup, you said it pretty well there. And yeah, we have Celsius 1.05, and this is our, I guess, dump focus map. It is, I would say, okay, actually, I do have some frequent arguments about this with the other poolers, but I think this one's the hardest one. And I'm sure people will disagree with me there, but I think I'm just bad at this chart, personally. But yeah, you see those mini jacks there. Very, very difficult to keep your control on. And it's just overall very freeform, very flowy. But it's overall very, very fun, in my opinion. So we hope you enjoy.
Yeah, and this is another one of those shorter charts at just barely under 2 minutes. So this is same way as we have been seeing in the past, in the last pool, will cause quite a bit of drop and score drop for a lot of players. But with that being said, it does mean that it's kind of easy to practice, just because you can continually play this map and I guess not get as bored.
Okay, well, I must say, like, that is definitely not something I recommend. I've played this map a few times in a row before, and I got a worse score each time, so maybe don't do that.
Yeah, that definitely is true. But now we're just continuing to see the patterns that we saw earlier on with a bunch of these, like, mini jacks, a bunch of these bursts, and kind of the same thing as we saw earlier.
And with this slowdown, that wraps up our Rice 5 pick. And we will be moving on to Rise 6. Happy Arnold.
Yep, and this is the map that honestly I've been waiting to show because this background is really funny. Personally. But yeah, this is another tech map. And honestly, this is a FFR chart, correct?
Yeah, this is a 100 in FFR, just for the record. This file is something. You have 253 BPM mini jacks, and we're coming up on some, I guess, like relatively light 253 BPM jump streams as well. Oh, these bursts are brutal.
Yeah, whenever I play this map, the bursts were really what was throwing me off. A bunch of these jacks, a bunch of these I guess there's like streamish patterns. Really were messing me up and giving me a lot of trouble.
Oh, this part, it's like, if jump streams weren't hard enough, try adding mini jacks into jump streams. Yeah, I think a lot of people are gonna find this one hard, but I honestly score a lot better on this than Celsius. So, I don't know, it's really skill set difference, I think.
Yeah, definitely I agree. So maybe something that some players or some teams may want to protect or ban. I know for some of the harder maps, a lot of the higher seeded teams generally are the ones protecting it.
Oh yeah,
just because they feel a lot more confident on it. So probably something that we're going to see a lot of protect, similar to the Rice 5 and last map pool.
I think there's not really a map to compare this to from round of...
Oh yeah, definitely. This map is very, very different from any of the other maps in the last pool. Since this is just...
Ooh, the trail, let's go!
Awkward. It's not like in a specific slot, I would say, besides tech/other.
Yeah, there's not really a map in round of 32 that really follows this. But honestly, I feel like it is a decent step up, especially considering physicality. Like, if you're comparing this to Poppy, like, that's a huge step up. But if you're comparing this to, like, the, I guess, JS map, maybe Hajibente Shimashou, then maybe it's more reasonable.
Yeah, with that being said, we are going to the ending. We're continuing to see these bursts and the mini jacks, and we do have a break. So, just at the end for y'all to get nervous by seeing the enemy team's scores.
Yeah, final long jack, and don't hit the 200s at the end because the notes are slightly off snaps for some reason. Thank you, Reizoku CJ. And that's it for Rice. So we're gonna move on to hybrids, and I love the hybrid pool this year. I want to show it off so bad. This is bad for me. A lot of you will recognize this. This is Map by Fola. This was featured in a tournament fairly recently. But this is on an uprate, and there are some slight edits. And this is like, I would say this is the non-mini jack hybrid, I guess. I don't know. It's very funny to put it that way, but I think that's kind of what this is.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This one's a bit more straightforward in terms of patterning. However, it's really made up for it in terms of speed in general, especially in the last section. It's like 220 BPM streams or something like that. And it's really fast compared to all the other hybrids, especially compared to like Hybrid 1 and 2. And there we go, we see those funny trills, those LN trills, which honestly, surprisingly, those LN trills feel really, really comfortable.
They're really comfortable. They're so comfortable. Yeah, you would expect them not to be. This is 220. Lacrima's 230. This is Lacrima, like just a little bit nerfed. Like, the trills, I mean. But they're so comfortable. It's crazy. It's wild.
Yeah, so I honestly, as a player, I wouldn't be too afraid of those trills. I would be most likely afraid of kind of some of the streams, honestly, because they're can catch you off guard, especially if you're not expecting
There are definitely some spots in this chart that are very easy to choke, for sure. That's for sure.
But now we're going to the halfway point. It's just a slight break, but still definitely, you have to focus on the accuracy, especially considering the LNs being on not necessarily common snaps.
Yeah, and honestly, like, this kind of feels, I think the consensus was that it was more of a LN hybrid, because all of the, I guess this horror section in particular is mostly LN oriented, and I mean, there's also, of course, the trills, and it's just, I feel like this map is just very, very focused on the skill sets that it wants to test, essentially. This part is very difficult as well.
Yeah, I personally found myself choking on a lot of, I think I'm a person prone to choke, but I found myself choking on a lot of these, I guess, streams. Some of the trills, generally I would like hit them pretty well. But especially in that last section, it's a bit of a step up, and that can cause some problems.
I think this chart is probably, out of the hybrids, this is probably my best score. But actually no, I think it might be LN2. Yeah, sorry, hybrid 2. But yeah, that's the chart. It's pretty straightforward, I would say, but it's very comfortable, and it's mostly speed oriented, LN oriented. So yeah, it's going to be very comfortable for a lot of players, I would hope. I guess we can move on to hybrid 2. Ale Jagd Est by How to Play LN. This map, well, honestly, it's very, very hard to, I guess, talk about this map, because it pretty much is like, imagine if the stage 3 qualifier was buffed by a lot, and I mean a lot.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This map is quite difficult to play in general. Though with that being said, for me personally, I found this map, I guess, easier to act compared to the other ones. I was definitely, other people said other things, but I found this one, I guess, more intuitive personally, especially like playing a bunch of density and stuff. That was my stance, but this one felt kind of, I guess, more technical.
It was very mixed, honestly. When we were all playing through the 3 hybrids, I think the results were very, very mixed. Like, some of us were really good at this one, some of us were really good at hybrid 3. It was just all over the place, and I feel like this chart really kind of exemplifies that. Like, if you are good at one specific kind of pattern, and I guess that falls, like, Water Lily kind of falls under this as well. But this is kind of like that, but just more jacks. It has more jacks. That's all, really.
Yeah, though I feel like these 3 hybrids really are a good fit for each other, since it really will be able to show the teams what they're good at, and like be able to allow the teams to play really, really well because of it, and like be able to think a lot about what they have to pick and why they have to pick it and things like that.
Yeah, and I just want to note that some of these, I guess, like, interrupted rice patterns, those are really, really difficult to hit, because you're, like, focused on the LNs, and then all of a sudden, boom, really dense gluts, and also, like, awkward trills, and it's just, like, all over the place. It's, like, really, really fun to act when you get it down. Ooh, this part is really, really fun.
Yeah, I was about to say, this part is super, super fun. It's really satisfying to be able to play it if you're like on an FC or like on a double S run or something, and it's just really, really fun to play, honestly. These hybrids are by far my favorite.
I want to say, yeah, round of 16 hybrids, by far my favorite. I agree with you, that's for sure. And well, that's hybrid 2 done. Now we're going into hybrid 3. This is charted by me, and honestly, I'll let the chart speak for itself. It's kind of weird. It's very weird. I'll say that much. I don't usually chart like this.
Yeah, this map is really, really weird. We will see, I guess, some like trills, as we saw there, those one-handed trills with the LNs that do cause a lot of problems. I found myself getting like 50s on accident because I didn't realize they were there on like a sight read or something. But especially if you play this map multiple times, you'll definitely get used to them. So don't be all too worried about those. What
you gotta worry about is the one, like the quintuplets.
Yeah,
and
basically
all those like weird snaps that you don't normally see. Like most maps, you feel the rhythm in 3 or 4. This one has like 5. I don't know, like maybe 7, I don't remember, mostly 5. It's
Yeah.
this very awkward map in general.
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, because of it, it feels really, really different compared to the other 2 hybrids, and it really will be helpful to distinguish the teams, which is always good. It's a good sign for hybrids, especially because they sometimes can favor LN teams, but honestly, I feel like this one kind of favors Rice teams a bit more just because of the speed of those hand drills.
Honestly, from what I gathered, I don't know who this favors, because you said that it favors Rice more, but this map is very LN heavy. Like, it's very LN heavy. So, honestly, I feel like this is a very 50-50, but you have to be really good at, like, you can't just be a Rice player, LN player, and then tackle this and you'll be fine, right? You have to be really good at tech. It's tech and tech LN and just tech hybrid, all of that. You have to be good at all of that.
Yeah, definitely. And from what I remember, this ending's also very, very funny to play, honestly.
Yeah, the 1/5s here.
Yep.
Very, very fun. But also kind of throws you off because it's like, whoa, like this doesn't happen the first time we heard this, right? And well, yeah, that pretty much sums up the map. We got the last few quintuplet mini jacks out of the way, and I guess we're going to LNs.
Yep,
Right.
and here we are with Future Eve featuring Hatsune Miku, and this is, I believe, more of our coordination-based LN, and it's definitely a big step up from last week's Tarot card.
Yeah, this like, look at these, like, we're already getting polyrhythms. Like, look at that, like, what? Like, this is gonna be insane.
Yeah, and especially towards the later bit, the coordination of this map, ooh, it definitely ramps up. I feel like if that intro is honestly one of the easier sections of the maps.
Yeah. Honestly, this map is, I would say it's fairly comfortable until we get to like the stuff that like ventures outside of like 1/4. Right, like this part is fine until we get those little 1/6 bursts and it's like, whoa! Those really trip you out, I think. This part as well. Those releases are very, very difficult to manage, personally.
Yeah, and we see a bit more of that timing call aspect as I saw people talking about in the Discord. They were talking about how some of the parry card didn't really feel that much like coordination, but this one definitely does, especially with those anchors that are just so brutal to play, especially on a good run when you're a bit nervous. And here we go, we have kinda weird releases, kinda like Sledge from last year, but a bit nerfed, I guess.
I would say, like, it's very hard to compare this to Sledge because Sledge is very, very straightforward and it has one skill set. It's like one very specific sort of test, right? But this kind of just goes all over the place, but it sticks with coordination, obviously.
Yeah. And I believe one section should be coming up, which definitely tripped me up on the first few plays. It should be like a mini jack, I believe. Or maybe we skipped it and I didn't realize it. I think it just went over. And
I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't think that was like too intrusive, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get more of these, I guess. It's more, one, like... Oh, we get this, like, polyrhythm section for the piano here. Very, very interesting, I guess, feel here.
Yeah, and especially here is where the density, or not density, the coordination aspect becomes a very big deal.
Yeah, and, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, that... The chart is very... I do want to... One thing before we move on to the next chart, this was a collab between Hightex and Favrex. So shout-outs to them for making this map, and shout-outs to Metaverse, and let's move on to LN2. This is Out Infinity. I mapped this. This is LN Density. It is quite long, but I think... this break section probably accounts for a lot of that time. It's probably closer to like 2.5 minutes, I would say.
Yeah, but this song is definitely iconic, and this map is also really, really fun to play. It's our density map, as you did say, and we definitely see the density just throughout the entire map. There's one break, but honestly, it isn't that like big. So you definitely will be having
Yeah.
to focus on really hard densities, and especially towards the end of the map, where there's a bit more polyrhythms, I believe, that can
Yeah,
throw people off.
some triplets. And honestly, like, there's not really much to say. I guess if you're comparing it to round 32, it is quite a significant step up. This is more straight like streams rather than like mix of streams and broken jump streams. So this is a lot more, I think, a lot more difficult to handle personally, but it's very straightforward to the point where I feel like accuracy is still going to be really high on this, even for like lower seeded teams.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This is, as you did say, this is a bit more straightforward. It's very similar to 8-bit Voyager, where I guess if you're very fond of density, you'll be able to play this map quite well. But with that being said, so will your opponent generally. But it's really going to be an ACK-based map, so seeing if you can get a really high accuracy on these releases, stay consistent throughout the entirety of the map, especially with the different patternings coming at you all at once.
Yeah, and honestly, there's not really much else to say. Like, this is a significant step up from round 32, as I said again. This is 191 BPM. It's pretty straightforward jump streams. I would say like this is probably my most straightforward chart like ever. So you're welcome, I guess. I don't know, like it's very enjoyable in my opinion. So I hope that you find some enjoyment in it as well while you're practicing for the pool. Honestly, like after this last chorus, oh, you know what? Yeah, the last chorus spikes a little bit. I don't know if you can call it a spike, but the long notes do get a little longer. Let's just say that. They get a little longer.
You get a little longer. But yeah, I definitely think this will probably be a fan favorite, hopefully, LN map,
I would say so. Yeah, this is probably the first LN map I would pick personally. But
Yeah.
I don't know. We do have a... we are going to move on to LN3, but we do have a special surprise for you. Let's take a look.
Wait a minute. What does that mean?
All right. Well, wasn't that exciting? We get a first OC original in round of 16. Thank you to Elixir and Toph Daddy for mapping this, collaborating on this map. Wow. Well, do you have any words, Mappool?
Not really. Honestly, I'm just super excited to be able to show off our first OSU original.
Yeah,
especially...
and it's first of many!
Yeah. It's really exciting, especially since in the previous years we haven't had any OSU originals in the like in the bracket stages or anything.
Yeah, and pretty much anything outside of Grand Finals tiebreaker, we've never really had this before, and we just want to huge thanks to the artists, Torimaru included, of course, but just like all the artists who have worked with us this year. But we want to especially thank Torimaru for this amazing song. We asked for a very specific, I guess, song, and they delivered exactly what we wanted. And Toph and Elixir also mapped perfectly, basically exactly what we wanted as well. So everything really just came together on this one. So I guess we can talk maybe a little bit about how this map might play out in a match scenario, because this is, of course, our wildcard LM pick. And I guess we're introducing, more difficult shields, as well as, just larger variety of patterns in the LM3 category. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree. The shields can definitely cause some troubles for a lot of teams, though. Same could be said for the density, honestly. It's actually quite fast, honestly, at one. Even though it is 170, some of them aren't just on 1/4 patterns, so I can...
Yeah, a lot of 1/6. Particularly those like LN like roll streams, those are super fun, but also so difficult. So, well, I guess that's enough about this map. So I guess before we go into the tiebreak, oh, sorry, I got distracted. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. SVs.
All right. Yep. So this is going to be SV1. Same way as last week, we did get some notes on the SVs.
Yeah.
So especially
I guess we can read this maybe directly from Walter. Thank you, Walter, for I guess providing these notes for us, because we were kind of clueless last time. I'm sorry about that. And again, thank you, Paturaj, for organizing the SV Mapper, group. So this is pretty AC heavy. This is 7.5 OD, so it's gonna be a little higher than OD7, which is typical for SV. There is apparently one note in this map that is very difficult to hit, and Walter says, "We'll know when we see it." And the reading, I suppose, this is a very straightforward reading chart, basically.
Yeah, so, and I guess we've been seeing that so far. Most of these, it's really just slow jams and fast jams and stuff. Not really any teleports, I guess, from what I've seen. A bit of stutters, but nothing too bad. Yeah,
honestly, like, I did play this map a few times because this was one of the first SV maps that actually got finished. I found it very enjoyable. It was very fun, and it was very intuitive also. Like, it felt very natural to play. Everything felt very smooth. So very happy with the end result here. Thank you, Alex Dunk, for mapping this.
Yeah, and now in this later section we see a bit more teleports, and maybe that's the note that they're talking about with the doubles? I'm not entirely sure, honestly. Maybe it'll be more obvious.
We'll see it. Alright, we have this like final drop section. Got some long notes and stuff. Woo! We love long notes.
There's LNSV1.
What? Well, these are fairly straightforward. You guys can handle it. You're MWC players. You can handle this. Come on.
Yeah. It definitely does look like...
I didn't catch that one note, by the way. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Who played this? Walter. I think Walter played this. Yeah, you can see in the replay name there. So I guess we can move on to SV2. Map by Not Applicable. Played by, I believe this is Mifa. Thank you to both. This one I'm also not familiar with, but we do have notes from Walter. He says, Yep, this is a memo chart, so this is going to be the introduction to memorization in the SV charts. So that's very exciting, I'm sure, to a lot of you SV fanatics out there who love memorization, who love to memorize charts. I'm sure that this will entice you, right? With that being said, this is fairly mixed, so there is going to be some reading. Quite a lot of reading, but there are memo elements incorporated into this.
Yeah, and we're already seeing that with quite a few more teleports than SV1, honestly, and I guess harder teleports in general. This definitely is quite a bit of a step up from the last pool. However, we also were told that the maps are actually going to be getting harder too. So this is
they're gonna get harder?
This is still easy mode. You're gonna
wow.
get like insane.
If you told me the maps were gonna get harder,
no,
wow.
Like,
wooga,
yeah.
wooga.
Wooga. Maps getting more difficult. But yeah. So
yeah, it's fairly mixed, I guess. Here we can see this is a pretty basic rhythm section. Reading section. There's some slowdowns there with some stutters. I suppose, like, ooh, that's slowdown. That's spicy. I like this. I'm jamming.
Yeah, honestly, these SV maps seem kind of fun to play, so even if you aren't in the tournament, I would highly recommend at least trying this out, at least the OSV version if you aren't too confident in the SV.
Yeah, for sure.
Maps and stuff, helping out the mappers and all the other things.
Yeah, support the mappers! Go favorite the charts and stuff.
Oh. Maybe that was the note for SV1.
No, I don't think so. I think there was actually like a billion-page discussion about that one last note because they originally had like a really long slowdown and it was really hard to hit. But it's like, okay, it's the last note. Come on, we don't have to do this. And then it's back and forth. You know, it's SV pooling. That's how it is. But yeah, that last note. Luckily, you guys are lucky. Count yourself lucky that last note did not have super slow jam. But before we get into the tiebreaker, I just want to say, I'm not sorry.
Thank you for that. Our tiebreaker is going to be of Ambrosia.
You guys thought you couldn't get away from it.
Nope, never gonna get away from a mint tiebreaker in MWC. I mean,
oh goodness.
What can we say, really? This has been ranked for what, about a year? Right?
I would say like
Close
7 months. It's been ranked for 7 months.
Okay, well, it's been mapped for about a year almost. So most people should know it, especially in the tournament scene, I would say, and especially since it is kind of PP, honestly. Slightly. Yeah,
it happens. But yes, this is. You're watching the correct stream. This is round of 16. This is round of 16. You're hearing this correct. I would say that this is probably harder than Kyo from last year. Maybe a little bit easier. It depends on your skill set, really. Because Kyo is more straightforward in one sort of 2 skill sets. But yeah, this is round of 16. Before you say anything, quarterfinals is harder. Semifinals is harder than quarters. And it just keeps going. It does not stop. It does not stop. So I'm really, really excited. And hopefully we do get some tiebreakers here.
Yeah, we didn't see any tiebreakers in round 32, but honestly, I would be surprised if we didn't see any in round of 16, especially considering the matchups that are happening. So many good matchups. We can probably talk about that a bit later. But yeah, this map is definitely very difficult. It is a step up and a half from Sick Rock, I believe was the last round's pool. Sick Rock Crazy.
Sick Rock Crazy, yeah.
Yeah, and we're already seeing that right here. These trills are insanely fast.
I mean, they play more like jacks, to be honest, those patterns. I would say that, honestly, this map is pretty comfortable. You just really need to, I guess. Okay, I will say the hardest thing about this map is definitely the length. like right here around this part of the chart, I'd be shaking. I'd be quivering in my seat, just because it's like it's so long and it's so easy to slip up your FC or whatever that it's just like I don't know. Like it's just like, and there's still so much like difficulty to go. Like later on, we're just about to approach the section in a second. But it is gonna be the LN section, and it's fairly dump heavy, and you know, I mean, what am I saying? You guys all know this chart, right? I'm sure you do. You guys, I see your leaderboard scores. I see you farming. You guys know what's up.
Yep, and this is a very difficult section, just looking at it, honestly. It's just really, it's the whole package. It's LN, it's hybrid, it's Rise, it's every kind of pattern that you can think of. Just put it into one map. That's the tiebreaker. That's up Ambrosia. It's just how it worked.
Yeah, and again, like, I got my hands up. Like, this is round of 16, and quarterfinals is gonna be harder. Okay, you got me, right? Like, this is difficult, sure, but I think it's within the range for round of 16, personally. It may, like, I mean round of 16 as a tiebreaker, of course, which means that this kind of patterning you'll probably see in quarterfinals. This might be a little hard, for like compared to the quarters pool, but I would say it's still fitting, because like this is the first round of eliminations, and if you're about to get eliminated and you reach the tiebreaker, like you really have to fight for it. Like round of 16 is like child's play compared to this, I suppose. You really got to prove yourself.
Yeah, and I believe our replayer did actually miss, so FCs on this probably won't be too common. I mean, we haven't really been seeing any FCs in the past year on tiebreakers, but even then, I feel like somehow there's going to be even less on this one specifically, as you did say.
Oh, of course they missed here. Oh, of course they missed there.
Really awkward sections.
I'm so sorry. No, I'm not. Yeah, this... What is there to say?
We're actually going to be D-ranking this map, so
yeah,
just for this pool, by the way, just letting y'all know.
True. Yeah,
all
we're
your
doing that.
PP is going to be gone, and whenever we re-rank it, you're going to have to play it again. Just for y'all's enjoyment, because I know everyone enjoys this map a lot.
Yeah, for the record, Lothus did like retry this map a lot. As I said, this is huge nerves for this map. It's very long, and there's a lot of very difficult slip-up patterns. So, I mean, this was the best score that we got. Kind of last minute, but I'm sure Lothus could, like, probably FC this. I'm sure a lot of people can FC this, to be honest. I do believe that a lot of people will FC this. Maybe not in match. The nerves are probably too much. But, yeah, and we get the pattern here.
Yep, and here's the part that bumps the star rating all the way up.
Oh my goodness. Alright.
Alright, well, that is going to be it for the round of 16 map pool. I hope everyone liked it.
Yeah. And, I mean, again, not sorry, but maybe a little...
I'm sorry.
Right now. Maybe a little... Okay, we gotta play like the good cop, bad cop kind of deal right now, right? Yeah. You're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about Mint. A little crazy! Alright, so... Well, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, schedules, everything. Everything should be done fairly shortly. And we'll try to get the maps uploaded as soon as possible. I think The Orbit has been uploaded, which is the Tormaru custom Osu original. I will link it in the chat for those who want to check it out. And everyone, yeah, thank you for watching. Is there anything else we want to add before we close this off?
I mean, I don't have anything. Just be sure to watch all of these matches, since there are so many good matches that are upcoming in round of 16. It's actually insane because it is so early on, and promise you won't want to miss any of them because they're all gonna be just super close. Being able to see all the top scores, being able to see all the close matches, seeing all the rivalries that pop up, and all these different things. But I think that'll be it. I know Toph before in the last match was talking about banners, so that may be coming soon, and especially if you do want to support your team or just the OSU staff in general, be sure to help us out and buy a banner.
Yeah, and with that being said, I think it's about time to close this off. Guys, you have a week to practice this map pool, and I hope you enjoy. And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.